Hello, it's Eclipses back again. I'm going to be talking about a show that was one of my favorite shows, which I'm going to be mainly talking about this character right here, Leighton, and I'm going to be talking about its cancellation, and also she left, so that's part of the reason why I'm talking about her character, is because I feel like that she's the main lead. Like if you say most TV shows has that one lead that's like the most developed, and you see a character at its full. And the other characters, like they're still main characters, but they're not developed too well. So like they were developed in other episodes, but like they weren't really as great as big. So like Walking Dead, like once Rick left, Daryl and Carol was like the only two ones that's really developed because they had time. Let's say the 100. The most one that I can stand out was Octavia. Um, there's like quite a few there too. Like I mean, like John Murphy as well. Same thing as a bunch of other shows. They have that. Like I mean, the group is the main leads. Like let me see if I can get a group. That's the best group photo. Those are the leads of the show. But the only one that's the most developed is her. Because in season one, like she's trying to find out who she is, she comes out to her, which I forget her name again, but it's been a while since I watched it. But I mean, when she left, once Leighton left, it felt like they lost their lead. So when I watched it, it was still good. Like it was a good show, but they lost the most developed character, so they had to kind of build it from the ground up again, kinda. And because they didn't develop the other ones, like they didn't really develop the rest well, like they did, but not as much as Leighton. So that's the thing. So when she left in season 3, episode 2, I think it was the second episode. I watched the episodes after that. They were okay. They weren't great, but the show was good. But her character was like developed because then first she was with Alicia, the one over here. Then she went back. Then she was with Tatum, which is. Could I get an actual? It's only photos of them getting close. That's it. And she did have like a lot of like one-offs, but overall, the show I I didn't really complain when the show got canceled. Most people left. Majority of the people that watched the show was there for Leighton. And in the beginning, I think that if they developed them all as a group, all together, all at the same time, at the same pace, then yeah, it would have worked a little bit better. But how season one worked and how they set it up, she was the most developed character out of all of them. Like we did see development out of others. Like once I see the group photo again, like I mean her, like she, like we knew some of her background with her parents and all that her parents were poor. I forget the yeah, and we know the one that's next to Renee on the other side. Um, I'm forgetting some of the names. That's the thing, but we know that she had really rich parents, kind of like Leighton, but not as far as Leighton. And we know that one of her parents was a government, like she worked for the government, and her parents were like they wanted her to go to school or whatever, and they didn't want her to fail, and she didn't want her parents didn't want her to do comedy, stuff like that. But I feel like the only character that was really developed was Leighton. So when you have her leave, then out of nowhere you have the characters that's like somewhat developed like very little. It doesn't really work. So yeah, it's how you handled it. I feel like just like with other shows, like let's say like the main lead lives, it still lasts some time. Just like with Walking Dead, I'm gonna go back to Walking Dead again because that's the most best one to like explain it. Um, After Rick left, there's quite a bit of people that still stayed because you developed two characters that were from season one pretty well. So you had 8 seasons of time. Well, I get that it's not that long, but I mean, like, it wasn't that long for this show. But you had time to develop those characters. And when Rick left, the main lead of the show, majority of the people still stayed. There's a few that left because they wanted just Rick, but quite a few still stayed for the characters that's on it, as well as Daryl and Carol. Daryl and Carol was a really good developed character from the beginning to end that you would still stay. But they did lose a lot of viewers after Glenn and all that and after all these characters. But I feel like if you have one developed character so well, it's not gonna work. I feel like. So let's say get rid of a main lead. It's gonna work somehow, like if you like kind of like figure out the other characters that's already there, but they were good enough that they needed Leighton, no matter what. And even on the show, I think you noticed this too, that when they all talk to each other and they're all talking, you realize that Leighton even said, "Are you gonna still need me or whatever?" And they were dealing with some kind of like thing with the other friends or whatever that they met. Where's the other one? It's that other cat that was there in season 3. She was one of them. I'm forgetting her name again. I'm forgetting all these characters' names because I came for this video just for Leighton. Like, I went to talk about all this stuff just for Leighton's character, but I don't see any of the other characters. Like, another developed character. Her father came back and was, like, supporting her and said, like, I feel like her father was the most developed too, in a way, because of Leighton. Other parents, they were developed. Like one was like the government like thing, but then that's all you really know is that the other character's mother was a like worked for the government, and that's all you really know. That's it. I feel like you gotta know something that's really high, and if you develop all the rest of the characters, you can actually keep a show going if you lose its lead or the main lead or the most developed, depending on how you handle the other characters as well at the same time. So that's what I think. Because I know that some people would just leave, but I know this is going on with Last of Us and all that, and people think that like Ellie and Tommy wasn't developed enough, and they got rid of its main lead. Its main lead, I'm saying. But yeah, but with that, I don't think Joel is the main character of Last of Us. If you really think about it, it's Ellie. If you think about like the name in a whole, The Last of Us, it's about Ellie. The whole first game was about Ellie. If you really think about it, it was just Joel bringing her to the Fireflies. That's basically what it's about. It's about their relationship. But yeah, um, I know I went to other things that I talked about. I went all over the place to back to the sexological college girls and back to all this other stuff like Walking Dead and The Last of Us and but I was just saying for examples. Um so once she left, it was still an okay show, but it wasn't like if I rated each episode that had Leighton, it was like anywhere from like an 8 to a 10. But I feel like once Leighton left, the episodes were like a 6, a 7. Some of them were a 5. Like I think the final episode, I felt like it was like a 4 or a 5. It was okay, but I feel like they could have done better with some of the other characters. But yeah, I'm gonna quit babbling on about this, and I'm gonna move on to the next video because I gotta talk about Fear the Walking Dead and The Walking Dead, why it got so weak. And I kind of want to talk about Troy and all that. I want to talk about Nick. I want to talk about all these other characters. But yeah, I'll see you next one, and bye.